All right, Jesse on Fire. Welcome back to the channel. Some of you guys probably just got off the YouTube live stream with me where I was trying to focus on watching the fights and talk to you guys, and simultaneously my wife was mad at me this entire time, which that never happens. Like, legitimately, and you know, I'll be pretty open with you guys about what's going on in my life. That never happens. She's never pissed at me, and she was really pissed. Unrelated to you guys, but I couldn't really think straight for whatever reason. I couldn't focus. But nonetheless, people are saying that it was pretty good, so I will take it. We had 7,000 people watch it, which is, I would say, very strong results for what I was anticipating. I appreciate all the support. Thank you, guys. So let's talk about the fights. But, you know, beforehand, if you guys aren't subscribers, I would love for you guys to become subscribers so you can hang out with us. We've got a good crew. I'm going to say this, actually. We have a good crew. If nothing else could have come out of this live stream where my audio was fucked up, my wife was pissed at me, and, you know, literally none of the fights did what I wanted them to do, aside from the Yan and Rose parlay. I've got a good culture in my side. Like, I feel like a lot of channels, they just have, like, you know, they're like, we have subscribers. Like, we have this many subscribers. But there's no, like, you know, there's no culture there. There's no culture in the subscriber base. I think that we kind of have that. I feel like we have a good culture. Like, remember that shithead who came in and was trying to run his mouth, and literally everybody was like, yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. I especially appreciated that because he was talking about me. This guy doesn't know shit about closing girls. He doesn't know shit about that. Everyone was like, yeah, he does. And I was like, yeah, I do. I'm gonna get really defensive right now about the one guy who's talking shit because I can't help it. I just can't. I can't let it slide. I can't kill it. I can't. People talk shit, I have to respond. I'm like a fucking amoeba. It's really embarrassing. That's Trump's problem, you know? Like, and I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter or anything, but like, that's his problem. He can't help himself. Like, if I was the president of the United States, I would control that urge. That I can promise you. I think I probably would, because I was unable to control it tonight. I was like, look, here's a picture of my wife. Look how hot she is. Don't say I don't know how to close girls. Anyway, so let's talk about the fights. First up was Paige Van Zant. We expected her to get worked, and she did. Like, completely worked, totally outmatched, didn't even belong in the same octagon as the other girl. I mean, plain and simple. She you know, she's fighting at 125, which was new, and I think that said more about her dedication to fighting than it did anything else, right? Like, I don't think that she was like, you know what, I think I'm going to do better at the 125 pound division. I think she was like, I don't really give a fuck about fighting. I'd rather not cut the extra 10 pounds because that sounds like a pain in the ass that I don't want to deal with. So I'll just fight at 125. And they're like, okay, here, we're going to put you up against like one of the toughest girls in the world. She's like, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm going to get through this fight, and then I'm going to go sell skin cream, and I'm going to take pictures of myself rubbing it on my ass. And a lot of people are probably going to buy the skin cream, and I'm going to get paid $35,000 for that. So fuck your fight. Fuck you. Anyway, that's pretty much my impression of the Paige Van Zant Ribas fight. So, you know, to just kind of cover that top to bottom with all of the relevant points. That's what I saw. The next one was Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade, and that was much more interesting than I thought it was. I called that the stone lock of 2020. Like, if Rose would have lost that fight, I would have been very shaken up, okay? Because I couldn't have been more confident for her going into that fight, and a very small game plan adjustment gave her all kinds of problems. I mean, literally, like, there was nothing different about Jessica Andrade's game plan, with one exception, okay? Instead of standing in front of her like this, you know, and then I'm sorry, those strikes, way too tight for Jessica Andrade. These strikes. So, that's probably not looping enough, but I don't have room here to I do, but I don't want to knock shit over. But anyway, so her only difference was this. All the time, like a bobblehead. And it made a huge difference. So if anybody is, like, you know, watching these fights and trying to learn things, that is a good learning lesson, okay? Watch the learning lesson. What a fucking idiot. What time is it? This is going to be an embarrassing video. But go watch the first fight with Jessica Andrade and Rose, and watch how surgically Rose dismantles her, right? She just in and out, bap, 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 bap. She lands everything. And in this fight, that was not the case. And the only difference was Andrade was just, she was like the, you know, the crazy bag that's attached on both ends and just goes, and you're like, the thing that the Diaz brothers are really good at, or certainly Nick Diaz. I saw him practice on that a million times. And then he would go in there and he would throw these little baby punches that added up and they end up knocking you out, because it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how good you hit him. But, yeah, that was scary all the way to the end. She broke Rose's nose. Rose's eye looked super fucked up. And I was nervous about that all the way to the end because Rose was hurt. I think if that goes 5 rounds, Andrade knocks her out. Straight up. That was, that wasn't turning in Rose's direction towards the end of that fight. But we got that one. Then we had Aldo and Peter Yan. And I'll just tie my own bets into this because I got, just eviscerated tonight. So I may as well just tell you guys about them. So my original 30-1 parlay was Aldo, Holloway, Masvidal, right? And this morning, I watched tape on Peter Yan and then on Jose Aldo, and I decided that Aldo had absolutely no chance in that fight. I was like, there's no way he's going to win. Like, none. And I was actually shocked at how well Aldo did in that fight based on my real, setting. I realized, doing these fights, making predictions, most of the time, it's not like I'm going in and I'm actually studying tape. And what I realized from watching the Aldo and Peter Yan one this morning is I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be out here on a big channel talking about what's going to happen, I need to be studying tape, because I actually do understand this game well enough to where as long as I'm actually watching footage, I can draw some pretty strong conclusions. But if I kind of just go, well, this guy's pretty good at this and this guy's pretty good at that, my results are going to be pretty mixed, right? Because it made perfect sense to me that Aldo was going to give Peter Yan a really good run. Then I watched the tape and I was like, oh, he has no chance. I ended up kind of being right the first time, but yeah, man, Aldo needs to really mix in those kicks. He does so well when he's fucking throwing those kicks. But once I decided that Aldo had no chance, I parlayed Rose and Peter Yan. So when Peter Yan won, and I parlayed that with Rose, that was a pretty sizable bet that I won. That was the highlight of my night. But yeah, Aldo looked amazing in the first 2 rounds. Really, genuinely amazing. And the only difference I saw between him in that fight versus him in many of his recent fights is that he was throwing lots and lots of leg kicks, and they were landing every time. I don't understand. If you go back and watch that fight again, why did he stop throwing those leg kicks? Why? Okay, he started throwing punches into his body, but he was getting countered when he was throwing punches to the body, he was getting countered, and Peter Yan was landing, okay? That's not a trade-off that you want, okay? Believe me, I am a huge proponent of beating the shit out of people's bodies, chopping down their legs. It's a huge target. It fucking hurts, and it lasts longer. Okay, you get hit in the face, you get hit in the head, you get rattled, and then assuming that the fight's not going to be over, it shakes itself out. It's like your brain stabilizes, and then all of a sudden you're good. Okay, when you get kicked in the body and kicked in the legs, you feel it. It stays there, right? It's not like you don't just shake the cobwebs out and then your legs don't hurt. It's it fucking hurts. Your body hurts, right? You move this way and it feels like your muscle's torn because it's fucked up over there. You're like, oh man, my movement's limited now. My legs, I have to switch stances because I can't get kicked in that fucking leg again. So the damage adds up. But he was having success kicking him there, and then he was not getting countered. And then at a certain point, I think he just likes the feeling of that step in left hook to the body, because it feels awesome fucking punching someone in the body. I loved punching people in the body. I love getting inside on guys and then just whap, whap, whap. My favorite punch, right hook to the body, and then after you do it a couple times and you make them really think about it, then you go there, and then when they drop, then you go upstairs and you knock them out. Knock them the fuck out. The fuck out. Anyway, but yeah, he started punching a lot, and then so Peter Yan started landing a lot, and that was the transition in the fight. 3rd round, you saw Aldo start slowing down, and in the 4th round, Peter Yan really put it on him. In the 5th round, Jesus, he fucked him up, man. He fucked him up. Aldo was putting up a defense, so it's not like you could be like, why didn't they stop it? You could kind of have said that a couple times. But you know what the craziest shot of that entire fight was that punch to the body that Yan landed on Aldo when he was on his back at the end of the 1st round. Okay, and then Aldo somehow survived that. But and maybe this speaks more kind of loudly to me than other people. I don't know if I've spoken about this publicly before, but I don't know if it's a genetic problem that I have, or if I don't know. But I have an off button right there. Literally right where my solar plexus is. Like I think my abs don't like fully come together or something, because they're like, it is. I mean, like I can't take force like this on it, like literally, like that much force. If it's perfectly placed, hurts so bad on me. Like it has to be some kind of weird genetic thing where my muscles don't connect there, because like there's no way. When I watch other fighters and I've seen them take shots there, like there's just no way that they experience it the same way that I do, because I would die, right? And that's basically exactly where Jose Aldo got hit, and he flipped over and kind of balled up, because I mean, shots anywhere else I eat them strong, but right there is yeah. So like when he got caught with that shot and then he turned over and turtled, I was like, oh my god, ouch. But he survived and then came out and chopped his fucking legs down. I mean, Aldo, there was a moment there when Petr Yan was looking very like doubtful, where he was like, wow, I'm in a lot of pain. Like this is not, I'm not used to this. But he ended up overwhelming him. So what I did then is I made a real big bet on Max Holloway, because I thought that I had Max pegged for what he was going to do, how he was going to change his game plan, and how that was going to lead to a victory. I looked at Volkanovski, like my read on their tapes when I watched them was Volkanovski can't change anything. Like he's doing everything that he can do. Okay, he doesn't have room to adjust. Like he's going to do exactly what he did last time. And Max Holloway has a lot of room to move, because he loafs it in the first couple rounds, and he also may not have taken Volkanovski as serious, not as seriously, but didn't know him. It wasn't a known entity to him the first time. Okay, when you're the champion, everybody knows what you do. They've been watching you for years, right? Like he watched tape on Volkanovski, but like I don't know. Like I just had this feeling that he was going to have him pegged better. He was going to go full throttle from the first round, and he was going to win. And in the first 2 rounds, he annihilated Volkanovski, and I was feeling very good about myself, because that was exactly what I said was going to happen. Then 3rd round was closer. Looked like Holloway had basically taken the round off, but could have gone either way. I was like, Volkanovski probably got that. 4th round was really close to where I thought maybe Max got it, but maybe Volkanovski got it. 5th round, I thought Volkanovski kind of maybe got it. And so when we're going into the decision, like, I mean, I think I made a big bet on this fucking fight. A big bet. Like where, I usually don't bet enough to where I'm actually going to, like, I mean, not like, I'm not talking about like care, like, oh shit, I can't pay my bills, but like enough to where I'm pissed that I didn't win, pissed that I lost that money. And I just was looking at it like, okay, so we know for 100% sure Max decisively won the first 2 rounds. So he just needs to win at least one of those 3 super fucking close rounds on each of the scorecards. Like just one. Like each of them needs to give Max one of those 3 that all 3 were super fucking close. And of course, split decision that went to Volkanovski. And if I heard that last scorecard read correctly, I believe that they read some ludicrous number that would have been, and I could be wrong, but because I was just waiting to hear if it was going to be and new or and still. But if I think one of them, they might have said 49-41. Is that possible? Is that even fucking possible? Because that's seriously what I think I heard, and that would be utterly insane. But candidly, if someone was going to force me to pick the winner of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, I actually would have picked Volkanovski for all 3 of them. And I would have said that they were insanely close, and I would have given them to Volkanovski. Especially, the 5th round, he was landing a lot more than Max. But yeah, so then I got frustrated, because I felt like I had gotten fucked over. And so I bet heavy on Masvidal. And as I was doing it, I literally in my mind was like, this is the kind of thing that for 100% sure you're going to lose, because if you bet with this type of energy, you always lose. It's like when you're playing blackjack. Like, think about this, okay? Now this is a universal fact that I can bestow on you guys and maybe save you guys some money in the future. So I have played a number of hours of blackjack that would need to be translated in years. Okay, my wife and I love playing blackjack. Love it. And before I met my wife, we've been together for like 13 years, but before that, I was an avid poker player. Okay, so I've spent an enormous amount of time playing cards. Okay, and here's the deal. When someone makes a bet and they have energy on that bet that is like they're upset, okay, or they're angry in any capacity, right? Or they're like, fuck it, the fuck it bet, okay? I am telling you, no one has ever won that bet. Like, you would think, I mean, if it's blackjack, it's pretty goddamn close to 50-50, right? But the fuck it bet, I've literally never seen a person win the fuck it bet. Okay, so whatever energy has control over cards, I'm telling you right now, if you talk to 1,000 people who have the experience that I do at a blackjack table or at poker, they will all tell you the same thing, which is that the angry guy who does one of these and it's like the last, the big last bet, they never win. Like, they never fucking win. Or at the very least, it's like a 95% loss rate. And right as I did it, I was like, oh man, I was kind of pissed off when I did that. I might have just jinxed Masvidal, who I really wanted to win. But anyway, it's not here nor there. It's not like it was like an amount of money that I'm like, but like I said, it was $800. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm talking about the fucking money enough that like, it was a total of 8 bills. I bet 500 on Max, 400 on Max, 100 on a parlay with Max and Jorge, and then 300 on, wait, what? Yeah, 800 total. So yeah, that is certainly money that I am pissed off about. Not money that matters really that much, but I'm pissed, pissed. Nonetheless, though, the Masvidal fight, let's talk about it. So Masvidal, I could tell, and anybody who was on the live stream with me, I said, he came out so hard in the first round. Like he was trying to decapitate Marty. And I said, that doesn't look like controlled aggression. That looks like he knows he doesn't have gas for 5 rounds. He had to cut 22 fucking pounds in 6 days. So it's not even necessarily a matter of how in shape he was. It's a matter of how well can your body recover from a weight cut like that, right? I mean, there's a reason why, you can cut 22 pounds in 6 days if you have to, but there's a reason why people don't do it, right? There's a reason you don't do it. It takes a lot out of your body to cut weight like that. But listen, in hindsight, I believe that we're seeing that Jorge was in a no-lose situation. I mean, honestly, like he lost, right? But he was fighting against Kamaru Usman, who, as we saw, was basically no threat of knocking him out because he is a crotch-sniffing. Just in case he sees this, I'll just say, he chose not to fight an exciting fight. Even when Jorge was really tired and he started having success on his feet, he chose that instead of pursuing that, he was going to press him against the fence and stomp on his feeties. He's like, I hope you weren't planning on using these toes anytime soon, George. I'm going to stomp on them. I'm going to stomp on your feet. Stomp them. You know what's hilarious about this channel is I'm still behaving as if this is like a really, really small channel that no one's going to see. And pretty soon fighters are going to start seeing these videos. And I'm creating guys where I'm going to be like, yo, Marty, what's up, man? Because I have immense respect for all professional fighters. I just, it's kind of my brand. I like to talk. I kind of like to do this, I have nothing but respect for Marty in real life, but, I'm telling the story of tonight, and the story of tonight was, I hope you weren't planning on using these toes, Georgie. I'm going to step on them so that you can't walk. It's going to really hurt. Step, step, step. George's like, how about we box? He's like, no, I'm going to push you against the fence, and I'm going to step on your feeties, and maybe I'll punch you in the body, but not enough where you can separate and we can actually bang. Like the 5th round, Marty was getting the better of him on the feet. And then he chose instead to clinch and press him again. Like that's the thing. It's like he's a person. The reason why I'll never root for him is because he doesn't care about being exciting at all. Like he's like Justin Gaethje want to be the human highlight reel. Kamaru is the exact opposite of that. He's like, I don't care. I just want to win. Like, they're all, well, what if you won by paper cut? He's like, what do you mean? They're like, well, you give him a paper cut and then you just run around the octagon in circles for 25 minutes. But that paper cut gives you the 1 point, so you win. He's like, totally down for that strategy. Paper cut strategy, it's genius. So maybe that's my nickname for him, paper cut, because he's down for the paper cut strategy. Paper cut, run in circles. Jesus. For the record, okay, since apparently I have to clarify really simple concepts for people in some cases. By the way, I realize I'm like a defensive crybaby about things people say in the comment section. I can't help it. Maybe I'm going to grow out of it, when I become an adult. 20 years ago. Yeah, I don't think I would win in a fight against Kamaru Usman, so you don't need to mention that. Like, I know Mike Perry would beat me in a fight like 100 out of 100 times, and Kamaru Usman even more so, even though it would be really boring and it would take a lot longer, because I would be like, yeah, I have some experience, but I haven't been boxing in years, like outside of just kind of like hitting the bag and kicking the bag, take an occasional video just to let people know on Instagram that if I wanted to kick him in the head, I could. But like in real life, like being actually squared up against a talented, trained fighter, like this, I feel like a fish out of water. He's like, I'm still just going to press you against the fence and stomp on your feet. I don't want to take any chances. I don't want to take any chances. Yes, I am bitter about how he fought that fight because, ugh. I don't know if I'm objective though right now, because it could just be that I really wanted Jorge to win. But candidly, I knew that Jorge wasn't going to win from the end of the second round, and so I've gotten myself used to it. And now I'm just bitter at. Maybe I feel like I'm having George's back by going on the crotch sniffer thing, but I have always hated that style of fighting, and that was some fucking heavy duty crotch sniff. So. But yeah, Jorge, nothing lost there. Let me tell you what's next for Jorge, okay? Jorge is going to fight Colby Covington next, and Usman is going to fight Gilbert Burns. And the winner of those two fights are going to fight each other, and the losers will fight each other. So most likely we will get a George Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns title fight where they'll have a full camp, and Usman will rematch Colby for who's next, and that fight will be identical. Like I don't understand. How could Usman fight such an exciting fight against Colby and not against Masvidal? It's almost as if he was like, well, I don't like the idea of getting punched in the face hard. Like, Colby doesn't punch very hard, so I'll just stand in the middle and trade with him. But like, Masvidal punches hard. As I'm saying that actually just sounds like good strategy. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not objective. It's late at night. My wife is fucking mad at me. I still don't even really understand exactly what I did. I just know it has nothing to do with other women, so there's no way I'm in that much trouble. But that's because I don't do shit with other women, because I love my baby girl, okay? That's good policy. When you find your dream girl, don't fuck other women, because they'll find out and then they'll leave you. Anyway, yeah. So for the people who were on the live stream, that was my buddy that was on. This is the FBI website in the archives. So you know how like in Point Break, they have like, they call them the ex-presidents, and they have like names for like bank robbing crews? That's not fake. That's a real thing. And Christian's bank robber name was the Motivator Bandit. And he's already done his time, been out for years, but he was the Motivator Bandit because he would tell all the tellers in the bank. Actually, I'm going to save this because I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow. I'm going to tell the story of the Motivator Bandit because a lot of you got to see who he is last night. So we'll tell his story on videotape tomorrow. That's what I got for now. Subscribe, ring the bell. Let's do this, man. I apologize for, I feel like I did not do well tonight, but like I said, I was very distracted. This is my first time. The microphone was fucked up. We're going to get better. We're going to get a lot better than that. That was the first try. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. Peace.